On your side.
Brett, thank you. We are learning about more information when it comes to South Carolina law enforcement decisions to classify the death of Stephen Smith as a homicide.
Smith is the classmate of Buster Murdaugh, the only surviving son of disgraced lawyer and convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh. Smith died in a hit and run 8 years ago, and no one was ever arrested for the crime.
I'm a mother. I need answers.
Based upon their review of the forensic evidence, that they too are convinced that this was not a hit and run, that this was something more.
And WSAV's Andrew Davis is looking into the new developments in the Smith case and if the Murdaugh family could be tied to this investigation. He is joining us live now from our Low Country newsroom.
Well, the SLED declaration of homicide comes just one day after the family says it was going to ask a judge to exhume Stephen's body and start an investigation all of their own. Now, SLED is talking about that previous investigation as Stephen's mom's outline exactly what she thinks happened to her son.
I mean, I just love my son, and since I couldn't protect him, I'm going to fight for him.
Now, Sandy Smith will have help in that fight. SLED's statement that Stephen Smith's death was not a hit and run, but a homicide, means that the family and law enforcement will be on the same page, sharing information and working together to find his killer.
With the Murdaugh murder investigation wrapping up, which was certainly a drain on the state's resources, we all know that they had more resources available and that they were approaching this afresh.
In a news release today, SLED distanced itself from the original investigation, saying it was never contacted by either Hampton County Sheriff's or the South Carolina Highway Patrol after Stephen's body was found on Sandy Run Road in July of 2015. It only reopened the case 7 years later in June of 2022, when SLED investigators got new information about Stephen's killing.
I believe he was beaten to death.
Why and by whom?
That I don't know. That's what I need answers for.
I think it was a hate crime. I think, Stephen was a very courageous young man to live an openly gay lifestyle in the low country of South Carolina in 2015.
While many questions still remain about what happened that night to Stephen, USC law professor and former prosecutor Joe McCullough says SLED needs to also focus on another mystery. What happened to the investigation in the first place?
Why, if I should say, people involved in the original investigation steered this thing away, this investigation, in the direction of an accident and away from a possible homicide. That to me is the far more important question, and only SLED has that information today.
Now, as for questions about the Murdaugh family's possible involvement in this crime, attorney Jim Griffin said again on TV that the family had nothing to do with Stephen's death. SLED does believe someone knows something, some important details, or who may be involved in this case. They have a hotline now set up for calls at 803-737-9000. You can also email investigators at tips@sc.sled.gov. Andrew Davis, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Andrew, thank you. Household items that once belonged to the Murdaugh family will soon be available to the public. The Liberty Auction House in Pembroke is selling off furniture and dishes, wall hangings, and more. It's happening tomorrow. The items are from the Murdaugh's 1,800-acre Moselle property. Among the things up for sale, a leather sofa with matching armchair, a crockery set embellished with leaves, a deer, as well as hunting mounts.
If you would like to learn more